What's up everyone? Tedrick85 here, and today I'm going to be making this short video because I want to talk about something that's been on my mind over the past couple weeks. Anyone who has watched either Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra know that fans like to pair up some of the main characters of the franchise, or shipping is what it's called in internet lingo. I can remember back when the original series was out, and there was a bit of a shipping war between Katang and Zutara. While the pairing of Katara and Aang is canon, Zutara's shippers still make themselves heard from time to time. In this video, I'm going to be talking about one particular ship from the Legend of Korra that has been gaining quite a bit of steam among a big chunk of the show's fan base, Korrasami, or the pairing of Korra and Asami Sato. Not only does this ship seem popular, but it also seems to be controversial. To be honest, I think it's rather sad that it's being labeled by some as being a bit of a controversy. As you probably guessed from that statement, I'm open to the possibility of two people being together no matter who they are. It doesn't bother me whatsoever whether it's a guy and a girl, two guys, or two girls being shipped. As long as it's not being done out of sheer lust or other twisted reasons, I'm fine with it. As far as the Korrasami ship is concerned, I'll admit that I'm a bit of a fan of this particular ship. Don't get me wrong, though. Even though I would love to see this happen, it is highly unlikely it will happen simply because of the stigma attached to homosexual couples, and I'd be pleasantly surprised to see break down that particular barrier and make it a groundbreaking first for an animated series here in America. I didn't think much about this ship at all until Book 3 of The Legend of Korra, when I saw how Korra and Asami were around each other. Only then did I start believing that this could very well be a possible pairing. I know what some of you are thinking right now. Well, Teddy, there's anything concrete that has been shown to say that Korrasami is going to happen. I'd respond to that by saying that they have a good point. For all we know, their gestures to each other could completely be platonic and don't insinuate in any way that there is something more to them. However, there were certain parts of Book 3 and even in Book 4 of The Legend of Korra that really got me thinking about this, and I'm going to share those particular parts. The first thing I noticed was how open Korra and Asami were to each other and how easily they could confide in each other. Korra told Asami that she was the first girlfriend she had that she could talk about things with, aside from Naga. Asami seems to reciprocate this by listening to Korra and offering her input without hesitation. Now, one could say that this is true about any kind of friendship, particularly one made up of trust and the ability to be comfortable around one another. However, this is just one of several things I've noticed about the two of them. Another thing I should point out is how Asami was always the first one to volunteer to help out Korra, like when Korra meditated into the spirit world while Asami watched over her body. And even in the flashback of Episode 2 of Book 4 where Asami asked to join Korra in her recuperation. Again, one could say this is just being a good friend. But I have to respond by saying that Asami does not appear to be doing this just because she has to help or it's her duty to do so. She appears to help Korra because she wants to, and she seems to really care about Korra. So much so as she is willing to set aside her duties at Republic City to aid her in her rehabilitation. Even during Book 1 of the series, Asami seemed to think very highly of Korra, despite both of them fighting for Mako's affections. Even after both of them dated Mako, the two of them refused to let him come between them, which tells me that their interest in Mako wasn't the only thing they have in common, but rather both of them like to be around each other. Speaking of which, the third thing I should mention is how often during Book 3 they were grouped together. Nearly every scene that featured the both of them, Korra and Asami were side by side. Some could say that this is a coincidence, but it happened far too often to be coincidence, not to mention that I, for one, do not believe in coincidences. Even in the Book 3 finale, Asami was the only one that was by Korra's side as the Avatar was confined to a wheelchair. One would think that it would be Tonrak or Senna, Korra's parents, that would be the one pushing Korra around, but it was Asami instead. Like I said before, it appears that Asami wants to be by Korra's side and help her however she can, and she has developed a personal attachment towards Korra, and that she doesn't want to leave her under any circumstance. Even when Korra was departing to the Southern Water Tribe for her recuperation and she declined Asami's request to be with her, you can almost see where Asami was a little disappointed not to be with her. Despite this, when Mako told Asami 3 years later that she would be returning to Republic City, Asami's visage changes considerably. Her face brightens up and her eyes light up when saying she can't wait to see her again. Oh, and I should mention how Asami was the only person Korra wrote to while she was recovering from her ordeal with Zahir. I know I mentioned this a little in my Book 4 vlog, but I felt this would be a more appropriate setting to talk about this. It speaks volumes that Korra didn't write back to Mako or Bolin simply because she feels that they wouldn't understand what she was going through. Much like Asami looks up to Korra and is willing to aid her in any situation, I think this letter is one way Korra shows her appreciation for Asami's help. It also seems that Korra looks up to Asami in a way because she feels that she can talk about her personal demons with her without feeling embarrassed or uncomfortable. Much like Katara comforted Aang during his lowest points, Asami comforted Korra during her low points. Like when she spoke to Korra before the Air Temple ceremony celebrating Jinora becoming Airbending Master. I think this is what I like about this particular ship, because there really seems to be something to it. In other words, it's not just smut and perversion like most other ships that one may see on the internet. I truly believe that most people that ship Korra and Asami together see just how connected the two of them are and how they are not afraid to share their innermost fears and feelings towards each other. I think that the most important thing in any pairing is the compatibility of the two people involved. Whether the pairing of Korra and Asami is viewed as immoral to some people is irrelevant. It's clear to anyone that has watched this series that there is nothing at all immoral about Korra and Asami's friendship. They talk to each other, hang around each other, help each other when they need it, and they look after each other during the darkest of times. If by some chance they should decide to spend the rest of their lives with each other, it should not be an issue because of how familiar these two characters are with each other. It would be awesome to have this particular ship become canon, as it would be a landmark achievement in an animated series by having a homosexual relationship between two of the main characters. Times are changing, and it's about time people see that there is nothing wrong with true love, no matter who the two people are. As a heterosexual male, I would have no problem seeing Korrasami happen, nor would I have a problem showing this cartoon to my kids when I do have some. No matter what happens at the end of the series, though, the whole point I want to make is that whoever Korra ends up with should not have anything to do with her responsibilities from being an avatar. I just hope that Korra ends up being happy, whether it's with someone or if she prefers to be single for just a while longer. However, should Korra end up being with Asami, people should not look at her with disgust, but rather rejoice and view her as being a trailblazer among the rest of the avatars, whether it's helping the world become a better place, promoting peace by resolving conflicts between groups of people, or even one where she has achieved enlightenment both in a personal sense and a global one. One thing is for sure, I'm more than happy to see the current avatar complete her journey and be the great avatar I know she will be. This is Tedrick85 speaking. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.